Your career, what is that? What is a career? And what do you plan on doing? I talked to so many people today, and I find that almost all of them have resigned themselves to this is it. This is what I'm doing. This is good enough. Their reasoning, it's just not worth it to move up in the food chain. It's too much hassle, too many headaches, just a lot of excuses like that. I have enough to get by in life. On this In this world, I don't think you can ever say that. There's no standing still. You're either moving forward or moving back. You can think you're standing still, but it requires effort, same place. So if you make a little bit more effort, you can move a lot more forward. So it almost always will make sense to make that little bit of extra effort. Now, that doesn't mean going for a promotion or something like that, but we're talking about career advancement. We're not necessarily talking about getting that promotion. We might be talking about improving our lives. Are you trying to improve your life? If you're trying to improve your life and you can do that in your current position, that's great. Do it. Make it happen. But it does require effort. No matter what you do, effort will be involved. Just how much effort do you want to put in? So, and one thing about effort level is this. If you've ever exercised, I'm sure you've noticed that once you get to a certain pace, it seems relatively easy, but you have to get up to that pace, right? That took effort to get up to a pace that allows you to be at your fastest. So what your fastest is going to be determined by how much effort you put into it up to the point where you cannot go any faster. And that's going to be true of almost anything in life. There's only so fast you can go. There's only so much you can get done. But, in a certain context on the road here. But you can, get better in different ways. So unlike a race where all you can do is run, when you're creating stuff, there's a multitude of ways to create things. And not only are there a multitude of ways to create things, you can new ways are presenting themselves. And creatively, you can find new ways, even if the world at large is not pursuing the same activities that you are. You can look at the world at large and see how you can take that other technology, that other reasoning, that other ways of doing things out there, and transfer them to what you're doing in your job, in your creative works. So there's a lot of ways you can do these things, and this isn't a race necessarily, not like a running race. You do have other ways to improve beyond a certain way. Just like if they said let's have a race, 100-yard dash. You said okay, and there's 10 of you, and the first 9 of you have all been running really hard for the last couple months, and you're prepared for the race. And some guy showed up with a motorcycle. Well, I'm going with the guy on the motorcycle. There's certain rules to the game, uh, but when there aren't, when the world is wide open, which is what you have in your life, yeah, there's certain to life, but you can show up with the motorcycle. You can show up with new ways to go faster, to do better, to be more productive. That's what we're talking about. Doing just that little bit more in your life, in your career, do a lot better. Because these things grow on each other. These things grow on each other. When you're a little bit faster than everybody else, you're not just going to be a little bit ahead of them. In simple terms, if people can walk 5 miles, 5 miles an hour, and you can walk six for whatever reason. You can walk six. Well, after an hour, you're going to be a mile ahead. After an 8-hour day, you're going to be 8 miles ahead. After a week, you're going to be 40 miles ahead. And after a year, you might be 2,000 miles ahead, or basically on the other side of the United States from them. But that's what a little bit of effort does for you. And getting up to speed generally, and that's what we're talking about, getting up to your speed, getting up to your maximum productivity potential, getting to that highest level that you can achieve on a consistent basis. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means what? Getting up, working a little bit harder until you're up to that speed where you're doing more, doing the best that you can. Now, of course, the analogy stands. If that guy or those guys that are behind you suddenly jump in a car, they may have been, after a year, a United States, continental United States in between you in distance, but now they get to catch up in a couple of days. That's why you have to keep your eyes open. You gotta learn, because in reality, the person who's doing a little bit more, making that little bit more of effort, he's probably going to be the one, or she will be the one who actually figures that out first. Don't keep your head down. Keep your eyes up. Keep looking. Look around you. See, people are using their phones to do these incredible things. Learn from it. Learn how that can improve your life. Why people own cameras. The only people that should own cameras now are professionals. People, that should be almost solely a professional thing. Everybody should own a camera at this point, and it's called your smartphone. It probably can take better pictures than just about anything you could buy at that range level, unless you're a professional. If you're a professional, that's a different story. But yeah, take a look around you. You see everybody's driving electric cars. There might be a reason. Learn if that can help you. If you have a commute that doesn't require more range than what you have on your car, and you might want to buy an electric car. It might save you in the end. It's going to save you time, right? You don't have to go get gas. You don't have to get gas twice a week or whatever. Whenever you get gas, so you're saving yourself. The trip might be 10 minutes, 10 minutes every other week. Well, it's 10 minutes every other week. 260 minutes a year, basically. 260 minutes a year. What's that worth to you? What's it worth to you not to have to go to the gas station? Now, this is a required trip, right? At some point, you have to go to the gas station. If you have your house set up for it, you're just driving in. It might be automatically charging it. You don't have to make any effort at all. Or you might have to plug it in. Look at these things. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Oil change. How many oil changes do you need? Are you doing 4 a year? 4 a year? Where I get oil changes, that's a couple hours. I have to go out and find something to do, which I do. I have time. But that's still a mandatory trip. I have to make it. If you look at all this time, how much time you're saving, doing away with. Okay, what's it mean to you? Maybe it's 300 minutes, 5 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours a year. 6 hours a year depends on what you're making. Maybe 6 hours a year is only $300. So maybe it's not worth it to you. At the low end, it's getting close. It's getting close. Sorry, we're far afield now. Let's go back to career and career opportunity. So once again, take a look at your career. Take a look at it. See if you're doing what it takes to move yourself ahead in the world. Say you have an offer directly at your job, or you have to decide between leaving or staying. Maybe you've worked your way up. You've done all those little things that you think need to be done. You've aligned all the stars. You're deserving of the next promotion. Do you wait or do you go? And what are the offers that are out there? These positions are not set in stone. If they are, you're working in the wrong place. It's just a matter of whether they think you deserve the money or not. Or not even deserve is the right word. Whether they want to give you the money or not. It's very easy to use that as an excuse. That's why you got to keep your eyes open. What other positions are out there? Go out and you talk to your boss. You say, "Hey, I really need a raise. I really want a raise, or I've done everything I can. I should get a raise." And if they say, "Well, we can't do that for you," you say, "Okay, well, I will be looking for other position then. Thank you." Be gracious. Be gracious about it. If you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort. I like the 10 times rule, basically. Try try to only extract 10% of the value. It's actually a 9-to-1 rule, I guess. If you can show that you are creating this extra amount of value to the company, show them, figure it out, do the math. If you're doing, if you're bringing in $100 million in revenue, asking for, well, actually, what's it come down to the bottom line? What's it bring in to the bottom line? It brings in $1 million. Asking for an additional $1 million, asking for 10% of that, it's not a big ask, especially if you can show it. Especially if you can, ask yourself realistically: is this company see me as I want them to see? I've worked in many places where I was on the fast track. I was on the fast track to rise in the company, and that's definitely a different feeling than being one of the people who are trying to move up from seniority. If you don't find yourself on the fast track, one, create the situation so you should be. If you feel you're doing the things that separate you from everybody else and you're still not getting it, talk to your employer. If you're still not getting it after talking to your employer and showing them what you can do for them, you take that knowledge, you take what you have learned about yourself and what you can do for a company, and you start shopping yourself. You start shopping yourself to other places. You start showing other people what you can do. Look, there's a lot of things that happen in the world. You may just have given off a bad impression for whatever reason. You may have rubbed the wrong person the wrong way at the wrong time, and now you're stuck because they have this impression of you that isn't who you truly are. These things happen. You move on from it. You move on from it. That's why, ultimately, I recommend that every man and woman is you're working for yourself. So, your success is dependent on you. If you have a client and you're working for yourself and that client doesn't want to pay you what you think you deserve, well, you go out and you find another client. And in this case, the client is your employer. You go out and find something. But be able to prove to yourself, to them, and to the next client, your next employer, what value you can create.